Welcome. We are in the bowels of Kaiju Island, studying these giant. What? Hold on. Shh. Something's coming. What is it? Oh crap! I see it. Oh my god! What? I can't believe what I'm seeing. Oh shit! It's found something else. Please do not fight. Not right now. Not right now. I got my research to do. Come on. Please, not right now. Okay, it's walking away. Oh, thank God. This is Kaiju Review for you. What a week it is to be a Kaiju fan.
It is a week to be a Kaiju fan.
So, this is going to be a multi-thing. We got a lot's going to happen. We got like the Godzilla -1 review.
Man.
We have Godzilla v. Kong just came out. The trailer just surprised everyone. We got Monarch going on.
Wait, was it Godzilla v Kong or was it Godzilla X Kong?
X Kong.
Okay, so it's like Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was. That's like my friend Bill is the one who sent it to me because I knew it was going to drop, but I didn't see any notification because I was asleep when it happened. Woke up to it and went, "Oh!" And then I immediately, after I watched that, I went, "Oh my god!" Immediately sent it to you.
Yeah, and I loved it. I was sitting at the kitchen table when it came through eating dinner, and all of a sudden it chimed through, and I was like, "What is this?" I clicked on it, and me and Stephanie sat there and watched it, and she's like, "Oh, that looks so cool!" And I was like, "Yes, it does."
It was. So we went and saw Godzilla -1.
Which we can just sit here and we can go ahead and definitively say the rebirth of Godzilla.
I agree. This was spoilers ahead. Spoilers.
This movie was spanking, man.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're in the middle of it. Yeah, so we are once again visited by Kevin's kids.
Dun dun dun.
But yeah, the whole time I was just like focused on it.
Okay. Well, let's just start at the beginning of the movie and let's just go. And we're just going to say spoilers here because this is getting in depth immediately.
So right off the bat, we immediately go to Odo Island, which we haven't Odo Island gets periodically talked about within the movies. It's a big part of the first movie, of the original.
Yeah.
And it gets talked about somewhat in maybe one time in Heisei and maybe one other time in Millennium.
It's the original Monster Island, isn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of where the island where Godzilla lives near. And it's kind of their big focus, kind of like their local monster. So right off the bat, we see this kamikaze pilot flying right into the island. Apparently they turned Oda Island into a kamikaze repair shop.
Yeah, which is weird because you're saying it's kamikaze repairs.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what's said on the.
I know, which a kamikaze pilot, if they didn't do their job, then they weren't a kamikaze pilot. Then
yeah, so they go to the outpost, and immediately right off the bat, we see. Yeah, I think it works fine. No, we're having technical issues today.
Just tiny technical issues.
Yeah, tiny technical issues.
Nothing like our kamikaze pilot who supposedly had technical issues.
Yeah, so...
And didn't die.
He didn't die. Yeah, so he gets there, and the mechanics, they're all talking to him, just trying to figure out what's going on. Because even the mechanics, like, there's nothing wrong with your plane. What's going on? And they kind of confront him, and the pilot's just kind of brushes him off and says, "What? You don't believe me?" and walks away.
Well, I mean, and it said it was May 1945. By May, I mean not a lot of Japanese soldiers, but a lot of soldiers knew it was pretty much over. I mean, at that time, island hopping had already put us super close to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't that far off from the atomic bombs.
So, nightfall starts going on, and then this was where it starts getting interesting, where it really turns into the monster movie.
Did you notice, though, that when Godzilla first arrived,
yeah,
he kind of had like a humpback? He wasn't like Godzilla looking. He was kind of like
an actual dinosaur.
Yeah, his head was kind of like hung lower, and he had like his big humpback.
Yeah, like this was the monster of Odo Island, and this is why I loved like that opening scene, because like you first start seeing like things were going, like when these old Sergeant Pooter. Wait a second, is that your?
That's my Xbox.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Your thing is Sergeant Pooter, but
that's right. Going on 18 years of Xbox Live. So.
Yeah. So like all these deep water fish just like starts popping up, dying like when they hit the surface, and then, like I thought that was a cool thing. Is like
okay, the deep water fish thing. Did you actually get a good look at any of them? Because I couldn't tell what kind of fish they were.
I really couldn't tell, but some of them like look more like eels.
That's what I was thinking.
More like eels mixed with fish. Look, like I thought it was pretty it
was cool.
It was a cool sign.
Well, yeah, I liked how later in the movie they used that to see where he was moving underneath the water.
And
but that first attack though
was fantastic. It felt like a real old-fashioned monster movie. Right off the bats.
Did you notice, though, Godzilla didn't eat nobody?
Yeah.
He picked them up, bit them, and threw them. But he didn't actually eat any of them.
So, like, it's obvious that they, like, with the monster of Odo Island, has definitely been around for a long time. It was very familiar, like, kind of very familiar with, like, you know, because Godzilla is also a little based off of King Kong lore. Especially with the maiden, the sacrificial maiden.
Yeah.
So at that point, it also makes you think: did they sacrifice somebody lately, or when they—that's the reason he showed up? It's like, where's my food?
Well, what brought Godzilla to the surface? That's what I'm wondering. Because Godzilla is, he feeds off radiation, right?
Yeah.
So what would have brought him to the island? There wouldn't have been no radiation there.
Well, also he wasn't radiated at this time. I think this was just him, just looking for food.
Someone to fight.
No, I think he was just looking for some food.
Then why not eat the humans? Why bite them and throw them? I mean, it was cool as hell to see. And then, you know, they're telling them to get into the plane to shoot Godzilla.
Yeah, the plane and shoot him.
It's a 20 millimeter. It can kill anything. Well, you know, they were shooting Godzilla with hand rifles and just pissing him off. I think the 20 millimeter wouldn't have done nothing to him other than piss him off.
It's like, what was the size of him? You would say what? About like...
Oh, God. Because he was standing above the plane. And the dude's sitting in the plane. So we're talking this plane's what? Probably 20 feet off the ground? Well, no. We're talking this is a 0. So we're probably 12, 15 feet off the ground.
I want to say this was, what, 30, 40 feet?
Yeah, probably because he's not that high above the cockpit when he's above it looking down.
Yeah. So I think this is pre-irradiated Godzilla. So we're talking like 30 to 40 feet.
You thinking a young Godzilla, maybe?
I wouldn't say young. I'd say like just... I think this is... Well, it's a good possibility because in the original script for Godzilla, like before he was irradiated, there was a family of Zillas that they had and stuff. And then when the bombs thing destroyed all the others, but he was the only one that survived. So it's either he could have been the younger one, or he could have just been like, this is just like Godzilla, like a Godzilla species in his prime.
Right. So Godzilla attacks. He leaves. Our man wakes up. Blah blah. He feels he's blamed for the death of all these other men.
Yeah, by the mechanic who is just the only other lone survivor.
Yeah. So he goes to mainland. He goes to Tokyo, where Tokyo has been firebombed by the Americans.
Was it Tokyo or was it
Ginzai?
Yeah.
Ginzai is like a subdivision of Tokyo.
Okay.
I always thought it was. Isn't Ginzai like a suburb of Tokyo?
I'm not entirely for sure.
Which I'm thinking it is. Which I guess we could look it up. But
Could be like
could
be a district.
Kind of. I mean, so he goes home with family.
And also, this is like 1945, so
yeah.
even back then, it could have just been its own little thing, but then got absorbed into modern day Tokyo. So
I think Ginza is still a place though. Which, but he goes home. His parents are dead. That's terrible. But
Yeah.
he had that note to survive, and that's why he didn't do his kamikaze thing.
Yeah. But then, his neighbor completely just goes off on him. It's like, how dare you come back alive?
Which I'm going to go ahead and say, most of the time you watch a Godzilla movie, the people aspect, the human side of it, is the worst part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But this part was actually really good. The way they wrote the people was very enjoyable.
The guy who wrote and directed the film was the guy who did... I can't remember the name of the movie. It was Always Sunny or something. It was on. It was one of those weird Godzilla films that Godzilla. Well, it wasn't even a Godzilla film.
Okay. Ginzai is Tokyo's famous upmarket shopping, dining, and entertainment district.
Okay.
So it's a district of Tokyo.
Oh, it was Always Sunset on 3rd Street. That was the other film that the guy did. So he's and it has a lot of good reviews and stuff, heartfelt, nostalgic, compassionate. And so the guy is good for writing an actual story. And apparently, because the second one, the guy actually put Godzilla in the movie as a dream sequence. And Toho enjoyed it so much, they're just they've always tried to give him, hey, you want to do a Godzilla movie? And so the stars aligned, and he finally did it.
Which, it was a great Godzilla movie. So he's home. His parents are dead. His neighbor's mad at him, which his neighbor comes around eventually.
Well, this is where I thought it was kind of, I like this, but at the same time, I wish it kind of escalated a little quicker in throughout the film, where he ends up meeting this girl and this baby.
Yeah. Notio or Nokia? Nokia.
Yeah, I think it was Nokia.
And then it was Akino.
Yeah,
was the girl,
was
right?
Was the baby? Yeah, because the girl runs up, hands him the baby, and runs away, and he's just sitting there going
Well, we're talking at this time. We're talking post Second World War.
Yeah,
there's not very much food out there. The Americans are giving as much food as we can.
She steals the food and runs.
Yeah, which you notice when they were chasing her, it was the police chasing her.
Yeah.
But, everybody's living in these burnt out buildings that are just rubble.
They're slowly just rebuilding it with what scraps they had. So he's basically living back in his parents' place, just completely burnt up. Just took what scraps he did and at least tried to put up some walls and stuff like that.
Sheets of metal.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like basic slums.
Right, and then, we move on. From there, it seems,
The story really does pick up, and
right, which, it did show the culture time where he was shunned for taking in a woman and a child who wasn't his child and wasn't that lady's child, but, we're also talking a post-war where a lot of people died. More people died during the fire bombings of Tokyo than both
Nagasaki and Hiroshima put together.
Yeah.
So we're talking large